Welcome to the State Climate Office of North Carolina series on heat stress, created with support from NC State Extension. Many people will experience heat stress in their lifetime, but what is it? Physical exertion, environmental conditions like high temperature and high relative humidity, and clothing worn all affect our body's ability to regulate temperature. Heat stress occurs when our body's core temperature rises to an unhealthy level and regulation through sweating, for example, cannot cool us off. This can lead to heat rash and cramps, heat exhaustion, and worst of all, heat stroke. Heat is actually the top weather-related cause of death in North Carolina. In 2016 alone, almost 5,000 people in North Carolina visited the ER from heat-related illness. A study from 2005 discovered that over half of occupational heat-related deaths in North Carolina occurred to farm workers. Furthermore, other research has shown that from 1992 to 2006, North Carolina was found to have the highest heat-related fatalities among crop workers than anywhere else in the country. Heat stress is a serious issue, but there are ways to prevent it. So let's look at some heat stress indicators. Heat exhaustion and heat stroke are the worst results of heat stress, where heat stroke can result in death. However, these are preventable if you know the warning signs. During heat exhaustion, the person sweats vigorously, can become dizzy or lightheaded, and their skin can feel cool. If you see any of these signs, it is important to take the person to a cooler air-conditioned place, give them water to drink, and cool them down with ice packs if needed. Heat stroke is more dangerous, in which the person stops sweating, they can feel a headache, their skin can feel hot, and they may feel nauseous. If this occurs, call 911 and cool them off immediately until they can be treated by a medical professional. So I've mentioned how heat stress is preventable, so how can we prepare? Heat index and wet bulb globe temperature are both indices that are used for heat stress. Heat index is a common tool used to mitigate heat stress. Heat index uses temperature and relative humidity to measure heat stress by determining what the temperature feels like to the human body, and this is easily calculated. For example, let's say that the temperature is 90 degrees Fahrenheit and the relative humidity is 60%. Looking at the chart from the National Weather Service, this gives a heat index value of 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which means that although it is only 90 outside, it feels like 100 to us. This is because during high humidity, it's harder for us to sweat and cool down our bodies. However, heat index is measured in the shade, so if you're working in the full sunlight, it can feel up to 15 degrees hotter to your body. Wet bulb globe temperature is another tool to determine heat stress, and it takes into account several other factors such as wind speed, solar radiation or cloud cover, sun angle, and physical activity. It is also measured in the sun, whereas heat index is measured in the shade. With these factors, wet bulb globe temperature more accurately represents heat stress on the human body, especially for those working outside in the sun. There are three components of wet bulb globe temperature: natural wet bulb temperature, which represents evaporative cooling from sweat, black globe temperature, which involves solar radiation absorbed, and the air temperature. Wind speed and cloud cover play a big role in wet bulb globe temperature, where higher wind speeds and/or more cloud cover will produce a lower value because higher wind speeds allow our bodies to cool off faster, and cloud cover lessens the solar radiation from the sun. There are wet bulb globe temperature guidelines that we can use to determine our heat risk as well. For example, let's say the wet bulb globe temperature is 85 degrees Fahrenheit. According to the North Carolina High School Athletics Association, this would put us in the yellow flag category, which for athletes and people working outside means that a 5-minute rest or water break should be taken for every 20 minutes of outdoor practice or work. Both heat index and wet bulb globe temperature are indices we can use for heat stress. But remember that while heat index is a popular tool, it's telling us what it feels like in the shade, while wet bulb globe temperature gives us the heat stress conditions in direct sunlight. If we follow these measures to prevent heat stress, then we can create safe work conditions and lower the statistics of heat stress in North Carolina. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video in our heat stress series.